Hello everyone, it's Willa Latham here and I love antique porcelain. And today I'm getting into the Christmas mood. Christmas is coming closer and the new year, and I don't know where you live, you may not have Christmas, you may have Eid, you may have your own new year, but over here it's a really big deal, the end of December, the beginning of January. So everybody's looking for gifts. So if you go to my website, you can now buy gift vouchers. You can buy yourself a gift card. You'll see a special page for gift cards and you can buy a gift card there. And if you click another button, you'll see it. I will make you one like these with a nice picture and a personalized message. So have a look. And then some people have been saying, oh, I'd love to give someone some of your items, but they're so expensive. And the thing is, antiques are not cheap because these things have survived for 100 years, 200 years, some even longer, some even like 250 years. So it's hard to find them. It's hard to look after them. And yeah, they're not cheap. But I do have a solution because I have lots of little orphan cups on my website. I have a real weakness for orphans, so I've built up a whole orphanage here. And what is an orphan cup? Well, in the 19th century, people would buy tea sets like this. There would be a saucer and a teacup and a coffee cup. And the coffee cup and the teacup would share the same saucer because you'd never drink tea and coffee at the same time, would you? So they might as well share the saucer. And then, of course, over time, a lot of these things got broken. So I often find these little orphaned cups at auctions or online, or sometimes I buy a big set and there's just a few that are left. There's just, some leftovers. So I have all these orphan cups and they come a bit cheaper, of course, because they're orphans. But they're very, very beautiful. Actually, I have often given my friends little cups like these, and I've given them to people who have no interest in antiques and they just love getting them because if you think about it, you get this little cup that is 200 years old. It's in perfect condition. It's perfect for a little espresso, or maybe if you're in China or Japan, you prefer to have tea from it. And they just look wonderful. You can just put it in your bookcase or in your china cabinet, or, they're easy to carry around. You don't need to have a big house for these. So they actually are great gifts also for people who don't really know much about antiques. So anyway, other than that, I just love them for what they are. Maybe because they're orphans, I don't know, but they have an extraordinary beauty, and I'll show you some. There is, for instance, this one. It's made, I believe, by Colport, and it's in the famous Nelson pattern, and it's called Nelson pattern because they made a very big service for Admiral Nelson, and that's why it's called Nelson. But the nice thing about this, I've had this one for a while, and then after a long time, I suddenly discovered something. See here, see that lion? That is a gorgeous lion. I hadn't seen it actually. That's really cool. And then I bought a bunch of orphans somewhere, and one of them is the same, but it's not made by the same factory. It's a bit rougher, it's a bit heavier, and if you look well, the lion is not nearly as nice. It's probably, to be honest, it looks like it's painted by a kid. And then I have another cup that at first sight looks very similar. I think this is made by Spode, and I know that because of this beautiful kinked handle with a little lip. And it's got such a nice pattern. And then I found another cup somewhere else, totally unrelated. And that's this one. And this one is from a little bit later. It's got a different shape. It's not straight anymore. They started making them more like the teacups, but narrower. And then I thought, they look very similar, don't they? So I started really looking at them, and I realized that this one, there's two elements to the decoration, and the lower part is all over the outside of this one, and the upper part is on the inside. So basically it's the same pattern. They also have the same pattern number. It's just that the pattern got applied differently on a new shape of cup because it wouldn't really work in the same way on a cup that is like this. So I think that's very cool. You just find these things independently from each other, but they belong to each other in a certain way. So yeah, there's so many things. This is one from Derby. Very beautiful, very famous pattern. I actually have a very big set of this one, and it's just a leftover. And it's got this beautiful pinched handle, you call it. And oh, this is a very famous one. This pattern is this is what's called the dollar pattern, and you can see why, because it looks like there's a dollar sign hanging in the tree. Now this pattern has nothing whatsoever to do with dollars. It's an ancient Chinese pattern, and it's not really known what this is about. There's probably a story to it that everybody has forgotten, but people started calling it the dollar pattern, and it's a beautiful pattern. And some people say that this detail here looks like a bunch of flowers because that's how the English painters interpreted the Chinese examples that they used. But some people are saying, oh, this is the menacing face of a monster looking at you. And it's, again, an old Chinese pattern because the monster is there to keep you safe from evil. Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? So, and then there are also some more modern ones. This one is from the late 19th century, so it's from about 100 or 80 years later than most of these. It's from Wildman. It's just a very little tea or coffee cup, and it's just very sweet. And what else do I have? Oh, I have a very early one. This is a beautiful little Newhall cup. And if you look at the color, right, let's say this boat cup and Newhall cup, you can see the difference in color, right? This is grayish. It's also much lighter. And that's because this is not bone china. This is from before bone china. This is probably from the very late 18th century. And it's in Newhall's hybrid porcelain. They had their own porcelain recipe that they called hybrid. It did have a little bit of bone china in it already, but not very much. It's mostly still rock, and that's why it's so grey. It's very hard. It sounds different. It's a very nice one. And then here is a very nice one, very, very gracious. It's in a Regency style, and it's got the famous seaweed pattern inside. Now this looks like it's Worcester, but it isn't. It's an imitation. It's Colport. And it was made in the 1820s or so. I've only shown you a few of these, but most of them you can find in my shop. If you saw any here that you are interested in and it's not in my shop yet, let me know, because I will keep bringing them out. And there will be new additions all the time, and also they get bought all the time. So I hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget the gift vouchers. If you get in a flap for Christmas or New Year's presents, this is what you can do. And I can, you know, the people you give this to can just shop whenever they want. It's valid for a year, and then I can send it once the mail services have calmed down, because it's all a bit chaotic now. Find me at gentlerattleofchina.com. Subscribe to me on Instagram or on YouTube, and you'll get my weekly videos, and on Instagram also my daily posts with pictures and nice stories. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.